Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by saying that we live in a world where appearances can be deceiving. We see the smile, the charm, the confidence, but behind it all, sometimes there is a deep darkness. There are individuals who walk among us disguised as leaders, friends, and leaders, friends, and evil. But in the eyes of God, the mask is slipping, and the truth is being revealed. God is exposing narcissists. Yes, I said it. He's pulling back the veil and allowing us to see who they really are. Those who have spent their lives manipulating, using, and controlling others are being laid bare for the world to witness. You see, narcissists thrive on deception. They build their world on lies and pride. But God does not let falsehood stand for long. His light shines in places where darkness once ruled, and He's showing us the truth. Now, don't get it twisted. This isn't about revenge or condemnation. No, this is about justice, accountability, and above all, healing. When God exposes the narcissist, He is not only revealing their true nature, but also providing an opportunity for healing for those they've harmed, and even for them, if they're willing to repent and change. The truth always has a way of setting things right, and it is through that truth that God heals our hearts. God's divine plan is rooted in truth, and part of that plan involves revealing the hidden things that people try to conceal. Narcissists, individuals who manipulate and control to serve their own self-interest, may think that their deceptions are unnoticeable or that they can get away with their harmful actions. However, God, in His infinite wisdom, allows these falsehoods to be exposed. This exposure is not just a matter of making the wrongdoers face consequences. It is a part of God's justice and His desire to bring clarity and healing into the world. Narcissists often present a carefully crafted image of themselves, one that hides their true nature. They may be charming, confident, and seemingly self-assured, all while using others for their own personal gain. Whether it's in personal relationships, in the workplace, or in broader social contexts, narcissists seek admiration and validation, and they manipulate people to maintain their sense of superiority. They are skilled at making others feel small, unimportant, or even guilty for not meeting their needs. This creates an environment where those who are around them can feel constantly drained, confused, and powerless. But God's intervention is a powerful force for truth. In the fullness of time, God reveals what has been hidden. This exposure often comes unexpectedly, sometimes through situations or circumstances that seem out of the narcissist's control. People begin to see them for who they truly are, and the carefully constructed facade they built starts to crumble. God does not expose narcissists to bring shame or destruction, but to bring them face to face with their actions. It's a form of divine justice that holds people accountable for how they've treated others. When God shines His light, nothing can remain in darkness. It's important to understand that this exposure is not just for the sake of those who are harmed by the narcissist, but also as an opportunity for the narcissists themselves to face the truth. God desires repentance and transformation. The act of exposing narcissism can be a turning point, an invitation for those caught in destructive behavior to change, seek forgiveness, and begin the difficult but necessary process of healing. The narcissist may find themselves in a place where they can no longer hide from their actions and the pain they've caused others. While the exposure of narcissists may seem painful in the moment, especially for those who have suffered at their hands, it is ultimately a step towards justice and healing. The people who have been hurt can begin to rebuild their lives and regain their sense of worth. They can move forward with the knowledge that they are no longer being manipulated or diminished by the false narratives of the narcissist. And in a broader sense, the world becomes a better place when the truth prevails. God's truth does not just expose, it heals, restores, and brings clarity. This divine unveiling reminds us that no matter how skilled someone is at hiding their true nature, God's will and truth will always shine through. His plan includes not only the revelation of wrongdoing, but also the chance for redemption, both for those who have been hurt and for those who have caused harm. Narcissism is a psychological condition characterized by an inflated sense of self-importance, a lack of empathy, and a deep need for admiration and validation. People with narcissistic traits believe they are superior to others and often look down on people they consider inferior or unworthy. This mindset leads them to manipulate and control situations to maintain their sense of power and prestige. They often thrive on external recognition and are deeply affected by criticism or anything that threatens their grandiose self-image. At the heart of narcissism is insecurity, masked by a facade of arrogance and entitlement. A narcissist's perception of themselves is distorted, often exaggerated, and disconnected from reality. They view themselves as special or unique and believe they deserve special treatment. This sense of superiority is often built upon their need to be admired and praised. In many cases, narcissists are unable to form deep, authentic connections with others because they cannot empathize with other people's emotions or needs. Instead, they see relationships as transactional, there to serve their desires, boost their ego, or maintain their power. One of the most defining traits of narcissism is a lack of empathy. Narcissists may appear charming or friendly when it serves their interests, but they do not truly care about the well-being of others. They view people as tools to use or obstacles to remove, depending on how others fit into their personal narrative. This lack of empathy allows them to manipulate others without remorse. They can exploit emotions, vulnerabilities, and evil. Narcissists often create an illusion of perfection. They carefully curate their public image, presenting themselves in the best possible light to ensure they receive admiration and attention. However, behind closed doors, their behavior can be toxic, self-centered, and destructive. They may belittle, guilt-trip, or gaslight others to maintain their superiority, all while presenting a false persona to the outside world. This discrepancy between the public image and private behavior is what makes narcissists difficult to spot until their true nature is revealed. While narcissists are driven by the need to be seen as exceptional, their internal world is often fragile. Beneath the mask of confidence and entitlement, there lies deep insecurity. They are hypersensitive to criticism, and even small slights can trigger an intense emotional response. In order to protect themselves from any threat to their ego, narcissists engage in defensive behavior such as denial, blame shifting, and projection. This creates a toxic environment for those around them, as their emotional volatility often leaves others walking on eggshells, uncertain of how to deal with their unpredictable behavior. Understanding narcissism is crucial because it allows us to recognize the patterns and behaviors that can harm relationships and communities. It also helps in identifying when someone is manipulating or exploiting others for their own gain. Narcissists may appear confident and even successful, but their relationships are often shallow and self-serving. By recognizing the signs of narcissism, people can better protect themselves and seek help if they find themselves entangled with such individuals. The mask that narcissists wear is a powerful tool they use to create an illusion of charm, likability, and competence. They carefully craft an image that they present to the world, designed to attract admiration, gain influence, and maintain control over those around them. This mask is often built upon their ability to manipulate perceptions, using their charisma to hide the darker aspects of their personality. For those who are unaware or too trusting, this mask can be convincing, making the narcissist appear like a charming, successful, and even selfless individual. However, beneath the surface, the reality of who they are becomes more apparent over time. Narcissists are skilled at projecting an image that aligns with the traits and qualities that others find desirable. They often present themselves as confident, attractive, intelligent, and well-adjusted, carefully selecting their actions and words to appeal to the expectations and needs of those around them. Their outward behavior is designed to evoke admiration and make people feel special in their presence. This is a deliberate tactic to draw others into their web, ensuring that they receive the praise, attention, and validation that they crave. It is through this initial charm that narcissists often gain the trust and admiration of others, setting the stage for their subsequent manipulation. This charm is a facade that only covers up the narcissist's true nature. The mask they wear is not a reflection of who they truly are, but rather a shield to protect them from the vulnerability that comes with revealing their real selves. Beneath the mask lies a person who is deeply insecure, lacking in empathy, and often indifferent to the feelings and needs of others. As long as they are receiving the admiration and validation they desire, the mask remains intact. But when their sense of superiority is challenged, or when they feel threatened, the cracks in the mask begin to show. The exposure of a narcissist's true nature often happens gradually. Over time, people may begin to notice inconsistencies in their behavior, or they may find themselves questioning the narcissist's motivations. Small manipulations, hurtful comments, or actions that don't align with the image they projected begin to surface. The narcissist's inability to form genuine, meaningful connections becomes more apparent as their interactions are revealed to be self-serving. Their inability to empathize with others, to care about their well-being, and to act in ways that are genuinely kind or compassionate becomes evident. The cracks in the mask grow wider, and those who were once deceived begin to see the true nature of the narcissist. The exposure of a narcissist's true self comes as a shock to those who have been under their spell. People who have been manipulated, controlled, or emotionally drained by the narcissist may feel betrayed or confused as they begin to recognize that the person they thought they knew is not who they claim to be. It is in these moments of revelation that the mask falls and the truth emerges. Those who have been deceived may experience a range of emotions, including anger, sadness, and disbelief, but the exposure of the narcissist's true nature brings clarity. It allows individuals to step away from the toxic relationship and start the process of healing and rebuilding their lives. The fall of the narcissist's mask is not just about revealing their flaws to others, but also about the narcissist confronting their own internal truths. When the image they've built up crumbles, they are faced with the reality of their own emotional emptiness and insecurity. While this exposure may be painful for them, it also presents an opportunity for self-reflection and potentially change. However, narcissists rarely embrace this opportunity as it challenges their fragile self-image. Instead, they often double down on their defensive behaviors, attempting to salvage their mask or shift blame onto others. Though the truth will always be exposed, and the narcissist's facade will eventually fall apart. Exposure of a narcissist often brings with it a necessary sense of accountability, both for the individual who has been deceitful and for the harm they have caused others. Narcissists by nature have a deep need to maintain control over their environment and the people in their lives. They manipulate situations, twist narratives, and use their charm to avoid facing the consequences of their actions. However, when God steps in and exposes their behavior, this hidden world of manipulation and self-serving behavior is brought into the light, and they can no longer evade accountability. Narcissists tend to live in a state of denial, convincing themselves and others that they are justified in their actions. They often see themselves as above reproach, immune to the same rules and standards that apply to others. Their inflated sense of self-importance leads them to believe that they are entitled to exploit or hurt others without facing any consequences. This belief is reinforced by their ability to deceive those around them, often leaving their victims questioning their own reality or self-worth. This cycle of manipulation is maintained as long as the narcissist is able to maintain control over the narrative. When the truth is revealed, however, it shakes the very foundation of the narcissist's world. For the first time, they are forced to confront their own actions, and the truth cannot be hidden anymore. This moment of exposure is essential for the accountability that the narcissist must face. It is a reckoning not just with the people they have wronged, but with themselves as well. Their manipulative tactics, self-centered behaviors, and lack of empathy become undeniable. And though a narcissist may resist accepting responsibility, the truth forces them to reckon with the harm they've caused. They can no longer continue to live in their distorted version of reality. Accountability also serves as an opportunity for healing, not only for the narcissist, but also for those who have been victims of their toxic behavior. When narcissists are exposed, the people they've harmed are given the chance to confront the truth of the situation. No longer do they have to remain in doubt or confusion about what was happening to them. The exposure frees victims from the shame, guilt, and emotional manipulation that the narcissist inflicted upon them. The victims can now begin to rebuild their lives, reclaim their sense of self-worth, and seek the support they need to heal. Accountability for the narcissist means that their behavior no longer goes unchecked. When exposed, the narcissist may find that their influence is diminished, their reputation damaged, and their relationships fractured. This exposure creates consequences that force the narcissist to come to terms with the reality of their behavior. Whether it's through the breakdown of their relationships, the loss of their social standing, or the realization that people are no longer fooled by their mask, the narcissist faces a harsh truth: their actions have caught up with them. While narcissists may resist the truth or try to deflect blame, the act of exposure and the resulting accountability is ultimately a step toward justice. It ensures that those who manipulate and harm others are held responsible for their actions. For the victims, it brings a sense of closure and empowerment, knowing that the truth has been revealed and that their suffering has been acknowledged. Accountability does not just serve as a consequence for the narcissist, it is also a powerful tool in the healing and restoration of those affected by their behavior. The exposure of narcissists often leads to an important process of healing, both for the individuals who have been affected by their behavior and for the narcissists themselves, if they are willing to confront their actions. While the revelation of their true nature may bring a sense of justice or closure, it is also an essential first step in the restoration of those who have been harmed by the narcissist's manipulation and abuse. Healing is a multifaceted journey that involves emotional, psychological, and even spiritual restoration, and the exposure of a narcissist's true self allows for this healing to begin. For the victims of narcissistic behavior, the process of healing starts with the exposure itself. When someone has been manipulated by a narcissist, especially over an extended period, it can be incredibly disorienting and emotionally damaging. Narcissists often gaslight, invalidate, and emotionally drain others, causing their victims to doubt their own worth and reality. The manipulation and control can leave deep scars, often making individuals feel powerless, isolated, and unseen. The exposure of the narcissist's behavior provides a pivotal moment where the victims can begin to reclaim their own sense of self. This exposure allows the victims to recognize that their experiences were valid and that they were not at fault for the mistreatment they endured. Many victims feel as though they are alone or misunderstood in their suffering, but the truth emerging about the narcissist's behavior gives them a sense of validation and justice. Knowing that the narcissist's actions were not only damaging but also intentional helps to break the cycle of self-blame and guilt that often traps victims in unhealthy relationships. With the truth out in the open, victims can begin to rebuild their lives, focusing on healing their emotional wounds, regaining their confidence, and reconnecting with their true selves. Healing also involves processing the trauma caused by the narcissist. This is not a quick fix or an immediate relief, but a long-term journey that involves rebuilding trust first in oneself and then in others. The emotional scars left by a narcissist's manipulation can take time to heal. Many individuals find it necessary to seek therapy or counseling to work through the pain of the abuse, to understand the trauma they've experienced, and to learn how to trust again. Recovery from narcissistic abuse often involves learning how to set healthy boundaries, rebuild self-esteem, and reclaim a sense of control over one's life. Interestingly, the exposure of the narcissist's behavior can also create an opportunity for them to begin their own healing process, although this is less common. The narcissist may resist the exposure at first, often feeling defensive or angry as their carefully constructed image unravels. However, being faced with the reality of their actions can, in rare cases, serve as a wake-up call. For some, it can be the moment they begin to confront the deeper issues within themselves, such as insecurity, fear, or trauma, that have driven their narcissistic behavior. This recognition can open the door to potential self-reflection, growth, and change, though it requires humility and a willingness to admit fault, which many narcissists are unwilling to do. The exposure of narcissists creates an environment where healing can take place for everyone involved. It allows for the breaking of toxic cycles, the restoration of dignity, and the opportunity for individuals to move forward in a healthier, more empowered way. Healing in this sense is not just about recovery from the pain caused by the narcissist, but also about the transformation that comes from mesmerizing truth, establishing boundaries, and choosing a path of emotional and psychological freedom. It is a process that empowers individuals to rebuild their lives and move beyond the shadow of the narcissist's influence. The exposure of narcissists can serve as a powerful tool for empowering their victims, offering them the chance to reclaim their lives and rebuild their self-worth. Narcissistic abuse often leaves individuals feeling small, insignificant, and even unsure of their own reality. Narcissists manipulate their victims to the point where they may start to believe that they are unworthy or incapable of standing up for themselves. Once the narcissist's true nature is exposed, however, the veil of confusion and emotional manipulation lifts, allowing the victim to regain their strength, clarity, and confidence. The first step in this empowerment comes with the recognition that they were not at fault for the abuse they suffered. Narcissists are skilled at making others feel as though they are the problem or that they are overreacting to situations. This creates a toxic environment where the victim constantly doubts themselves. They may feel trapped, unable to speak out, or even feel as though they deserve the mistreatment. However, when the narcissist is exposed, the truth about their behavior becomes undeniable, and the victim is freed from the emotional burden of guilt and confusion. This clarity is often a significant turning point, as it restores the victim's sense of personal agency and reinforces their worth. Once the narcissist's actions are revealed, victims can begin to see themselves more clearly. They are no longer defined by the narcissist's narrative or manipulation. Instead, they can rediscover their own identity, outside of the toxic influence that has held them captive. The emotional damage caused by narcissistic abuse can take time to heal, but exposure is the first step in allowing the victim to feel validated. They can begin to process their experiences and move toward a place where they are no longer held back by the narcissist's control. It allows them to reconnect with their true selves and take back their power. Empowerment also comes from the freedom to set healthy boundaries. Narcissists often do not respect boundaries and will continually push limits to maintain control. This constant overstepping can leave victims feeling powerless and unable to protect themselves. However, once the narcissist is exposed, the victim gains the courage and clarity to enforce boundaries that safeguard their emotional and mental well-being. This ability to stand firm in their own truth and protect themselves is a major milestone in the healing process. Victims can begin to take charge of their own lives and make choices that prioritize their own needs, something that was often impossible while under the narcissist's influence. The exposure of narcissists often leads to the victim regaining a sense of community and support. Narcissists isolate their victims, often driving wedges between them and their support networks. After exposure, the victim may find that they are surrounded by people who believe in them, who validate their experiences, and who offer love and encouragement. This sense of belonging and support strengthens their sense of self-worth and enables them to move forward with confidence. The exposure of narcissists serves as a catalyst for empowerment by allowing victims to reclaim their voice, trust in their own experiences, and take control of their future. It gives them the strength to walk away from toxic relationships, make healthier choices, and live a life that is no longer defined by manipulation or emotional abuse. Empowerment is about rediscovering the ability to heal, set boundaries, and pursue a life filled with self-respect and freedom. It is a transformative process that allows the victim to rise above the harm they endured and move forward with a renewed sense of purpose. The exposure of narcissists is not just about revealing their harmful behavior to the world, but also about shining a light on the hidden dynamics within relationships, communities, and even workplaces. Narcissists often thrive in environments where their manipulative tactics go unnoticed and where their self-serving actions are allowed to continue unchecked. The truth coming to light serves to disrupt these toxic dynamics and allows people to see clearly how their actions have affected not just individual relationships, but also the larger collective environment. In many cases, exposing narcissists helps to break cycles of manipulation and emotional abuse that have been ingrained over time, creating opportunities for positive change within those affected systems. When narcissists are allowed to continue their behavior without exposure, they often have a ripple effect on the people around them. They may influence how others behave, shape the tone of a community, or create an atmosphere of fear and insecurity. Those in close proximity to a narcissist often find themselves caught up in their emotional games, manipulated into silence, or even made to feel complicit in their actions. This is particularly true in family dynamics, work settings, or social groups where power imbalances are at play. In such environments, the narcissist can control the narrative, shift blame, and distort reality, leaving others uncertain of their own experiences. Once the narcissist's true nature is exposed, it forces a collective reckoning. People who were once manipulated or deceived are able to see things more clearly, which empowers them to speak out, protect themselves, and set boundaries. This is especially important in environments where a narcissist holds significant power, such as workplaces or family systems. The exposure disrupts the cycle of control and domination, giving others the opportunity to reclaim their autonomy and stop enabling the narcissist's behavior. It also opens up the possibility for others to support each other, strengthening relationships and creating a culture of mutual respect and accountability. In larger communities or groups, exposing narcissistic behavior can bring about systemic change. It can inspire people to challenge toxic structures, question unjust authority, and address patterns of manipulation and deceit. The exposure of the narcissist may spark conversations that lead to healthier ways of interacting, promoting values like empathy, transparency, and honesty. It can create an environment where manipulation is no longer tolerated and where everyone feels empowered to be their true selves without fear of being undermined or controlled. The ripple effect of exposing a narcissist extends far beyond the individual, impacting the collective mindset and shifting the culture toward healing and growth. The act of exposing a narcissist's behavior also brings a much-needed sense of justice and accountability to situations where it was previously lacking. Narcissists often escape accountability by spinning their version of events, dismissing the perspectives of others, and deflecting blame. When their behavior is finally revealed, it forces them to face the consequences of their actions in a way that they can no longer avoid. This moment of exposure disrupts their ability to control the narrative and holds them accountable for the harm they have caused. While narcissists may try to manipulate or deny the truth, the collective recognition of their actions creates a sense of justice that ripples throughout the affected relationships or communities. The exposure of narcissists has the power to create lasting change in environments that have been dominated by manipulation and deceit. It brings clarity, accountability, and the opportunity for healing, allowing individuals and communities to break free from the toxic influence of the narcissist and move forward with healthier, more supportive relationships. The impact is profound, shifting the dynamics of the entire group and fostering a culture where truth, integrity, and empathy are prioritized over power and control. The exposure of narcissists can ultimately lead to the revelation of their deeper insecurities and vulnerabilities, which are often hidden behind layers of arrogance, control, and manipulation. Narcissists tend to project an image of strength and invincibility, constantly seeking validation and admiration to maintain their fragile sense of self-worth. However, beneath this facade lies a person who is profoundly insecure and constantly fears being exposed for who they truly are. When their true nature is revealed, whether through the exposure of their manipulative tactics or their inability to maintain their carefully constructed image, these insecurities come to the surface, and they are forced to confront their own weaknesses. The narcissist's sense of superiority and entitlement is a defense mechanism to mask deep feelings of inadequacy. They rely on external validation, praise, admiration, and control over others to compensate for their inner sense of emptiness. They view themselves as special or unique, but this self-image is not grounded in any real self-worth. It is instead a construct built upon the need to feel superior to others in order to stave off feelings of inferiority. This inflated sense of self is fragile and easily threatened by criticism, rejection, or exposure. When the narcissist is confronted with the truth of their behavior, the cracks in this facade begin to appear, revealing their deep-seated vulnerabilities. The exposure of a narcissist's true nature often triggers a defensive reaction. In an attempt to protect their fragile ego, they may lash out, deny the truth, or shift the blame onto others. They may try to deflect attention away from their own faults by accusing others of being the problem. This defensive response is rooted in their fear of being perceived as weak, flawed, or unworthy. Narcissists are terrified of losing the admiration and control they so desperately seek. And the exposure forces them to face the possibility that they are not the invincible, superior individuals they have made themselves out to be. In some cases, this exposure can serve as a turning point, although it is rare. For the narcissist to truly acknowledge their vulnerabilities, they would need to confront the truth about their behavior and the emotional pain that drives it. This requires a level of self-awareness and humility that many narcissists are unwilling to embrace. Instead, they often double down on their defenses, refusing to acknowledge their insecurities and continuing to manipulate and deceive others. However, even when a narcissist resists this self-awareness, the exposure still serves as a reminder of their fragility, forcing them to confront the deep emotional wounds that they are trying to hide. For those who have been victims of narcissistic behavior, witnessing the exposure of the narcissist's vulnerabilities can be a powerful moment of healing. It reveals that the narcissist is not as invincible or powerful as they once seemed. Instead of viewing the narcissist as a larger-than-life figure, the victim can begin to see them as a flawed, insecure individual who is just as vulnerable as anyone else. This realization can strip away the fear and intimidation that the narcissist may have instilled in their victims, allowing them to feel empowered and free from the narcissist's control. The exposure of a narcissist's vulnerabilities reveals the truth behind their false image of superiority. It shows that their need for validation and power is rooted in deep insecurity and a fear of being seen for who they truly are. This revelation, while often painful for both the narcissist and their victims, offers a chance for healing, growth, and the dismantling of the narcissist's destructive influence. By confronting the narcissist's vulnerabilities, both the individual and the larger community can move forward with greater clarity, strength, and understanding. The exposure of narcissists is a powerful catalyst for change, not only for those who have been manipulated or hurt by their behavior, but also for the narcissists themselves. When the truth is revealed, it disrupts their control, forces them to face their vulnerabilities, and allows for the healing and empowerment of their victims. It clears the path for accountability, shifts toxic dynamics, and fosters healthier environments for individuals and communities alike. Though it may be uncomfortable, the exposure ultimately leads to clarity, freedom, and a chance for growth. It's a reminder that no mask, no matter how carefully crafted, can withstand the truth for long. And when it falls, it opens the door for everyone involved to rebuild, heal, and rise stronger. The truth may hurt, but it is also the foundation of a better, more authentic life for us all. Thank you.